Hey, what's up everybody? Welcome back to another set of Genshin Impact reactions. Today we have two requested by Maya. There's a lot of A's in Maya's name. This is Varuna's Mercy, and then it'll be over the Tumbling Rivulet, which I've been doing a lot of Sumeru in my gameplay. I just finished the Archon story in that area, but I haven't explored any specific areas for too long, so I think I'm safe with the music. Maybe I'll recognize one or two of these. I don't know, but I always love actually getting the chance to like sit in Sumeru's music. I usually don't do that when I play. I just play and largely avoid like sitting too long and listening to the music unless I already know the theme like poured foremost. So it's like, okay, sure. But either way, I'm gonna hear these today, and without further ado, let's go! No, it's not really ringing a bell yet. Again, I am pretty ignorant to the music while I'm playing. But I also know some of these themes only play in like certain story modes and missions, so... God, just everything's sweeping and swelling so well. I really like the super subtle bean shaker that's in there. I'm not entirely sure what that, it might be like a gourd wrapped in like some sort of like a ring of beans. I've seen those before. Man, God, it's really nice to be able to hear these again and actually pay attention. This is one of those songs that I love because it has a little bit of every instrument involved. It's really just a song that is designed for that purpose, like including a little bit of everything. Obviously, Sumeru has its whole like musical language and that flavor of everything in the Middle East and especially India. And it's just like, ooh, you know, like every single time I hear it, I'm like, oh, there's another, ooh, that's a new one. Ooh, I haven't heard that one in a while. And it's just so fun to be able to listen to it and hear these like subtleties in certain choices of flute, and a few zithers I think were in here. And again, stuff like that shaker that I'm pretty sure is just straight up a gourd or something that has like another like smaller item wrapped around it. Those are pretty common in that style of music, especially in like African tribal music as well. It's very common there. I know this isn't that area, but at the same time, it also makes sense because we're at that crossroads of all these cultures, just like I talked about in the Port Ormos video, and I talk about basically every single time I get to a Sumeru song. It's just so nice to hear it and be able to hear these little tiny passages of every single like individual instrument in here. Oh, there's like 3 or 4 different types of flute in here alone, not to mention stuff like the zithers like I did. So it's just, oh man, every single chunk of this song was like shaking hands with another part of the culture, another part of the area, and getting just a slight variation of that sound and what that lead means to that area. So I'm assuming that this one is probably for one of either the ports in the area or something that might be like an interim area, something that's like a transitional space, like one of the rainforests. I could totally see that too, because it also kind of feels like there's a bit of that mystery to it and you're not entirely sure where all these cultures are coming from, but you know they're meeting here, and that feels very like central, which I know a lot of the rainforest areas in Sumeru are like that. We're just like all the roads lead to them in a way. So it just, man, it's just nice to be able to sit here and listen. Again, I've played this area now. I've ran around it quite a bit, but it's not like I'm sitting there on the top of a mountain just to listen to the music. I've done that before, but usually well after I've already passed the Archon story in that area. I've done that in Inazuma, I've done that in Liyue, I've done that in Mondstadt. I've just sat there and just experienced the music for a few minutes and just kind of took it all in because that's kind of part of the game's beauty for me, is the layout and the surrounding areas, the entire span of space and land in front of you. It's just so breathtaking at certain spots that I find my little like areas I like to go to, the me spaces, and I'll just sit there. I haven't found many of those in Sumeru yet, but that's because I haven't really given my time to explore it. So I'm sure I'll do that once I start the Fontaine area, and I just did Economia like literally last time I streamed it, so that had some beautiful music too. I need to go back and actually like listen to it. I was mostly just playing the story and getting through it, but I think people want me to hear the music from that area, and I don't know if I've ever heard any individual uploads from that space, so I should just go and listen to the music and actually take it in and really process it. I could tell it was beautiful, but I didn't really give myself time to actually like absorb any of it, so that's off track. Either way, this was a beautiful song. You don't expect anything less from Yu-Peng Chen, and I guess I'm gonna have to hear what Rivulet has, because that gives me a hint, and because of the rivulet meaning small river, so it's like, okay, so probably a water-based area. We might have another port situation. I'm not entirely sure here. There's only, I think, one other port I can think of in the game that I haven't been to, so maybe it's for that. I don't know. Well, I guess we gotta find out. Ooh. Okay, maybe it what? Gotta give it time. It's leaving a lot of space. There's not much going on. Like, in that vibe, it's nothing like the other one. A little bit mysterious, though. Again, those swells, building that tension. Maybe this is like a little hidden nook somewhere. Maybe the underground. I can see this fitting the underground. Again, the lack of detail. And I still love that they have talking drums. It's just so cool. I love those so much. It's a lot more percussive. It has a lot more sharp hits going on. It's hanging on to that too. Yeah, this one is a lot more mysterious. Again, the other one had that mystery to it, but this one definitely takes it a few steps further by just removing detail. All right, so this one's definitely like mysterious. Again, I have to say that word. It really feels like it fits with the underground parts of the game, but also I could see this working with, like, there's elements in, especially the percussion, these like little like sharp hits are usually a signifier for things like raindrops and water. So maybe if the other one is a like rainforest theme, and I'm assuming that correctly, then maybe this one is for another one, because there's like 3 or 4 of them in the area. So maybe, but this one has a lot less going on. Like I said, there's just less happening. It's quieter. It feels more abandoned than the other one was, where it feels more like the other one was like this crossroads of all these different cultures coming into one space and kind of agreeing on this space. This one just kind of feels more like you would walk into it and you'd be like, oh God, I don't know what's around that tree. It might kill me. Like, there's a lot more of that tension in it, and it builds that. It swells a lot of that. There's this constant build up, and like I mentioned, it held that tension at the end for a long time. So it's trying to get you to like latch on to that feeling of not really knowing what's around, but also it doesn't sound dangerous inherently either. So I don't think that this is like a threatening song by any means. It's just more of like a kind of the feeling I would get walking into like an area in like South America and then suddenly seeing like an Aztec ruin, you know, that's just completely abandoned otherwise. And it's just like, whoa, you know, like that's like the background music I'm imagining to play when that situation theoretically would happen. And this fits just so well with that vibe. So maybe that's what's going on here. Maybe it's one of those rainforests that I haven't explored too much, and maybe there's stuff in there that I haven't found, you know? Maybe there's secret passages to the underground in there. Maybe there's like more down in that space, because I've barely touched the underground of Sumeru at all. I think I've stumbled into it maybe 2 or 3 times, and I've left immediately. So it's just like, I don't know. There's so many puzzles down there, and I don't want to get into it when I'm just casually going. So I've largely avoided it. But maybe that's what this song is like a transitional space for those areas. Something that has a little bit of past and a little history to it, a mystery, a giant like area-wide puzzle perhaps. Stuff that just makes your brain start to churn a little bit and wonder what was here before. You know, again, the other one feels a lot more like everyone agrees what the area here is, and it feels like a multi-locational acceptance of that energy, much like Port Ormos did. And like this one just feels like nobody's really sure, and not many people like to go there because they're not sure what might be there. You know, maybe it's like a local legend that if you go in there, bad things will happen, kids disappearing, you know, like that sort of thing in like a story or world quest. Something like that is kind of the vibe I'm getting from this one. And I do love how stripped down it is. I love the bare bones ones that take out all the extra detail, but I like that this one plays back into that with adding some more sound design to make up for that room, adding some more atmosphere to the space. Like I said, the whole like clacking and using that like sharp percussion, especially in music in this part of the world, is usually a signifier for stuff like rain or other harsh attacks. I've heard it used to like signify arrows being shot by like mass armies, stuff like that. And this one's way too chill to be like a war theme, so I don't think it has anything to do with like arrowheads, but it definitely could be rain, just given the atmosphere around it. Again, it's very mysterious, and it kind of has that feeling of just being weighted down. Like there's so much humidity in the air. I know I'm talking rainforest here, so that's kind of a given, but it's just, it feels thick with mystery, and it feels thick with potentially water. So, I mean, shocker, right? It's Sumeru. So like, I totally get that. And that's just the energy this one's giving me. 2 completely different ways to handle the mystery too, because the other one like hangs on that mystery, but it also feels very communal. Like they've thoroughly explored that area, and this one just feels untapped by modern man. So it's just a really cool way to like clash those two and juxtapose that whole sensation. So Maya picked a really good set of songs for this one. And if you have anything you want me to get to, by all means, drop it in the comments below, and I will do my best as always to get to those. Or if you don't want to do that, maybe just want to follow me and support me for more stuff coming in the future, you know how to do that. And I will see all of you in the next video. Goodbye!